Peter Buswell for drvoip.com. On-demand technical support for all things Amazon Cloud in general, and in particular, Amazon Connect, and all integrations with Amazon Connect from CRM through chatbots and custom software engineering. In this short video, we're going to go through Amazon Connect voice messaging, how to configure it. A few years back, I think it's almost 4 now, Amazon created a voice messaging application and published it to GitHub. It's had a few updates. It's a fairly robust voice messaging system. It works. And though if you go there today, you'll find that it is currently, since January of 24, is no longer supported. However, the application runs. There are some nuances that you're going to have to tweak, but it is a useful application. Amazon plans to upgrade it. They just have not announced when and what time frame that will take. I continue to deploy it. It works, and there's no reason you shouldn't deploy it. Having said that, I'm going to help you understand those nuances and the various steps you have to take to get this configured and working. The resources you're going to need, obviously, you need an Amazon Connect instance, right? You've got your call center, and now you're trying to add voicemail to your call center. What this framework is going to do, it's going to generate a CloudFormation template that will be used to generate some resources that include a Kinesis stream. You're going to generate some Lambda functions, a DynamoDB table. You're going to make use of Transcribe. Cognito will play a role. That will all be pretty much generated by the CloudFormation template. Some other things that you're going to work with are SES. You're going to want your voicemails delivered optionally as an email. And to do that, AWS requires verification of the email address, and we do that in simple email services. There's an API gateway that's configured. There are S3 buckets that are configured, one of which you will have to create. So typically, there's not a whole lot of coding. You don't have to be a sophisticated software engineer to get this running, but you should be familiar with these particular components in the system because you're going to be touching CloudFormation for sure. Let's take a look at the deployment steps. You're going to download the deployment package from GitHub. You're going to make sure you know your ARN of your Amazon Connect instance. You're going to need to create an S3 bucket, which is going to house the initial source material for the deployment. Again, you'll understand as we actually do this. You'll modify the template with the name of the S3 bucket you created. And then you're going to create a CloudFormation stack using that template. In your Amazon Connect instance, you're going to need to enable live media streaming. And you're going to either want to create contact flows, or in the GitHub, there are a couple of sample contact flows. Actually, you download them from the voicemail portal, which I will show you. All of this will become hopefully clear when you see an actual configuration. And then you're going to log into the voicemail portal and go ahead and configure everything. So let's jump into a real Amazon Connect instance and get this voicemail framework deployed. Okay, as I said during the introduction, you're going to go to GitHub. And in GitHub, you're going to look for voicemail for Amazon Connect. That will bring you to the repo that was created by some smart guys at AWS. Smart guys and gals. Aaron was part of the team. What you need to notice is that it's saying that as of January 24, the application has been archived and it's no longer supported. They're planning to do a new release, but they don't know and they're not committing to when that release will be out. This release, however, will run, and there's no reason you shouldn't use it. There are some nuances which I'll point out, but you should be able to make use of this. And we'll take a look at the new one when it's available. First thing you're going to want to do is you'll notice there's a deployment package here. If you read down here, it says blah, 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 blah. You can find the deployment here. And if you go ahead and click on that, it's actually going to download the package that you need. I've already downloaded it to my desktop. You're going to find a folder here. You open it up, it's got some README instructions, but you're most interested in these 4 template packages. So let's just put that aside for the moment, because the first thing you have to do is go to your AWS console. Now, the assumption here is that you know the difference between the AWS console and the Amazon Connect instance, right? And you will need some permissions to gain accesses to the resources you need for this deployment. Having said that, we're going to come into our account. First thing we're going to do is go to S3. And in S3, we need to create a new bucket. So give it a name. Okay, so just give it a name. It has to be unique. That's an S3 thing, not a voicemail thing. And go down here and create your bucket. You're going to want to make note of the name of this. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the name. Next thing you're going to do is bring up your favorite text editor. In this case, I'm going to use here. And let's go ahead and open. What we want to open is the one that says voicemail for Amazon Connect template. Go ahead and open that up. And what you're going to do is scroll down to line 134. You'll see that it says template bucket. And in here, you're going to go ahead and put the name of the S3 bucket that we just created. Go ahead and paste that in there. Please note that this slash at the end needs to be there. So it's https://amazonaws.com/your bucket name. Gee, I spelled my own name wrong. And you need that slash. You got to have that slash there. So then go ahead and save that. Okay. And what you're going to do is go back to the bucket you created, and we're going to upload some stuff. So you can add folders or add files. I'm just going to add files just to make sure I get everything I need. So I'm going to go to my desktop where I have that folder. And I'm going to upload all of the templates that were provided in the GitHub. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go ahead and upload. Okay, so that's successfully deployed. All right, next step, we're going to go to CloudFormation, and we're going to create a new stack with new resources. So here we want to specify the template, and what we're going to do is upload template. You can choose the file. You can actually go to that S3 bucket, but we want the template that we just modified. And now that that template is there, go ahead and hit next. At this point, you're going to fill out some parameters required by the voicemail application. So let's give it a name. Spell it right this time, Peter? Okay. And it wants your Amazon Connect instance. So go back here, Amazon Connect, and this is my instance. And we're going to copy the instance ARN. We don't need the whole thing. If you click here and copy it, it tends to not like that. Just go here and get those last 32 characters. Just copy them. Let's go back to the CloudFormation template. Let's drop that in here. Is this a SAML instance? Yes or no? So if you're using SAML or single sign-on, this would be true. I'm just using a simple Amazon Connect instance in which the user database is part of the instance. Then it's going to ask you for some information about who do you want to be the email the admin of the portal, because this is going to spit up a little static website that's going to be used to administer the voicemail system, and I will show that to you. So it wants a voicemail, an email address, a name. If you want to give create a manager, you can go ahead and do that. Delivery string is when it sends an email out, who should that email come from? You should understand that everything is case sensitive, so be aware of that. It's going to create a Cognito user pool. It needs to have a preface there. What I typically do is just go, it has to be unique. So here's one way to make sure it's unique. And I'm just going to paste that in there. So at that point, hit next. It's going to create the required permission role, and don't worry about these for this deployment. It's going to review all of the parameters here. Email addresses are case sensitive in Amazon. So for example, if I had capital D RVOIP, that would be a different user than lowercase d RVOIP. This is important because in SES, you have to create this account and get it verified, or you will not get email addresses. You will not get your voice messages delivered in email. And come down here, and you go ahead and check those boxes and go ahead and submit it. So this is going to take a few minutes to create the solution. So I'm going to pause the video. So you don't have to stare at this while it builds out all of the resources required. Okay, the stack has completed. You should see the original stack, and there should be 1, 2, 3 substacks or nested stacks. So you ran this CloudFormation and it created some additional resources in the form of nested stacks. If you're interested in the details, you can go through on your event tab and see everything from the moment you pushed go. Right now, what we need to do is go to the one that says voicemail portal stack. Now, the framework deploys a static website and it has 3 buckets, and this is used to host the voicemail administration interface. So you're going to go here and you're going to look around here until we go to outputs. And this is the guy we want, distribution domain name. So you're going to want to click on this guy. You'll make a note of him. You'll want to come back there later. Now here, what we need to do is recognize that when the voicemail CloudFormation was sent, you were given a temporary email password. So let me dig it out of my email here. There it is. So it looks something like this. So you can see here the username that I put in and the temporary password. Go ahead and copy that password. It always comes with a period at the end here. The period is a period of the sentence. It's not part of the password. So you'll save yourself some grief. Don't include the. So go ahead and put in your email address. Go ahead and put that in. And then it's going to ask you to change your password. So I'll go ahead and put it in. And at that point, this is the voicemail management interface. And apparently I use this for both admin. As you can see here, it says I am a manager. I want to be the admin. There were 2, I use the same address for both. It's just easier at this point for me to go here to Cognito, which, if you remember, we gave a preface in the parameters we filled out. And it went and created a Cognito user pool, and it added the email addresses that I put in there. And so what we're going to want to do here is just modify this, click on him, and I want to add him to, right now he's manager, let's add him to the admin group. Save me from having to log in again, I hope. The other thing you're going to be required to do is go to Simple Email Services. And in Simple Email Services, you're going to configure an identity. And there are 2 ways to do this. I'm going to take the simple way. We're just going to put in an email address. Now, as I've pointed out, you will not get your voicemail sent to you as a WAV file or a transcription unless your email address has been verified. So there's 2 ways to do that. You can either do it individually like I just did, which is if you have a system of any size, it's going to be an annoyance. The other thing you could do is just go ahead and do it by domain. So you could just put the whole, at drvoip.com is my domain. I put that in there. It's going to require you to have access to your DNS records and things of that ilk. So at any rate, the next thing that will happen is you'll get, excuse me, where'd it go? You'll get another email verification request from AWS, which you will need to approve. And at that point, you will, let me log back into this because I don't want to be a manager. I want to be so Dr. VoIP. Too many passwords. Come on, Peter. Dr. VoIP, put in my password. Okay, at this point you can see I'm an administrator. If you click on the little gear here, you'll see that this is the delivery email, and I fat-fingered that, so you're going to want to. So when the system sends out a voice message as an email, this is the email address that it will be from. So if you don't like that, you're going to need to change it. The other thing I would point out is there are some sample contact flows here that you can download and import them into your Amazon Connect instance. Go ahead and do that because you will need them. And I would recommend that you unclick Enforce Voicemail Encryption. If you leave this check mark, what will happen is the system will send you an email, but that email will have a link. And you click the link, and that takes you to the message in an S3 bucket someplace, and it's encrypted, and that will be your authority to decrypt it. The problem is that there's a time limit on that, and I have found it to be a real annoyance. If you don't check your email for a day, it may have expired, and that's a problem. So just get rid of that. And then go ahead and save this. Next thing you're going to do is go ahead and sync your agents. And what this is going to do is pull all of the agents out of your Amazon Connect user database. Now, this is just a demo system I'm working on, so I have a very small amount of users in it. But what you'll do is you'll click on the user, and you will set them up. So here you can see it's Peter and his email address, and we want him to get a transcription of the actual voice message. We're going to assign him an extension number, and we want email. He also wants to get a text message. And go ahead and save that. So you will do that for each of your users. Now the email that extension you create here is a fake email, extension number. It doesn't mean anything outside of the system. I have, however, used it to be able to directly dial an extension number to reach an agent. So if you call in to that contact flow and it asks you to put in your extension number and you put in 115, it's going to redirect that to the agent assigned to that extension number. And here we'll give this guy, and we'll just send him. And you'll go ahead and set this up. It's pretty simple. And you can select whether you want email or SMS or both. And this is okay. So we've got our basic setup. Now what we're going to do is go into our Amazon Connect in the AWS console, not the Connect instance, which we'll come back to. We're still in the AWS console here for our Amazon Connect. You'll see I've got this demo instance here. And over here on the left side, you're going to see data streaming. You're going to want to enable data streaming. Um, you're not going to create it, but you're going to select Kinesis Stream, and you're going to go in here and select the Kinesis Stream that the CloudFormation template created. Now, if you happen to be in a deployment that already has a Kinesis stream, you're going to have to replace it with the voicemail stream, and you're going to have to go to each of the Lambda functions that the old stream pointed to and add this Kinesis stream as a trigger. But in a simple system like this, we're just going to select the Kinesis stream that the CloudFormation template created and go ahead and save that. You also need to go to data storage here, and live media streaming also needs to be set. So you'll go ahead and enable media streaming here, give it some kind of a preface, and then go ahead and you're done. So it's important that you get the media streaming set up. If you don't do that, your voice messaging will in fact fail. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go into Amazon Connect. And in this case, I've created my own contact flows. You can, if you like, hit create and go ahead and import. And we just downloaded a couple, right, from, so there's this voicemail greeting. You can go ahead and open that. And and you'll go through this contact flow and just make sure it's appropriate, in terms of cues you want to select, etc. One other thing I should have pointed out is back here, you're going to want to go to flows. And here where it says Amazon Lambda, you're going to want to hit the drop-down message. And these are all the Lambda functions that were created by that CloudFormation. But we need one of them. We need the one that says get agent by extension number. So go ahead and click that and add that function. So when we go back in here, this is the sample right here where it says invoke Lambda function. Well, you're going to have to select the Lambda function. You won't be able to select it if you haven't added it, as I just showed you. So go ahead and publish that. There's actually two of these contact flows. Now, what I've done is a lot of folks want to be able to dial an extension number directly. So I created a contact flow called ask for the extension number. And so I like to get my setups out of the way. So we come in here, we set up the voice, we ask the user to enter a 3-digit extension number or 4 digits, whatever you set up. And you'll notice that it's going to invoke the Lambda function. We want to go here. Once again, we want to select the get agent by extension number that we previously set up. And basically what happens here is we invoke, we get some information back from that Lambda function. It basically goes out to the DynamoDB table and it pulls back a lot of configuration information, the agent name, In fact, if you, let's go find that. Here, set recording behavior, invoke the Lambda function, set contact attributes. You'll see 6 attributes, and you can see what it does. It gets the agent ID. It's not fair to call it an ARN, but as you know, in AWS, everything has a unique number, even this contact flow. If I look here under show additional information, you'll see that this contact flow has an ARN, and those described by these last 32 characters there. So at any rate, each agent in the system has a unique number, okay? And so when we evoke that Lambda function, it's going to go out to the DynamoDB table that was created by the CloudFormation template, and it's going to go ahead and pull back things like the agent ID, the agent's name, some information about, does he want his voicemail transcribed, just the different parameters that the system needs to deliver voice messages the way you set it up. And that pretty much covers the configuration. I want to point out that if you try to test this now, it will fail. And what you need to do is the following. You're going to go here to Lambda. You're going to type in KVS just to make the search a little simpler. You can see Dr. Voicemail Framework. That's the name I gave it. Yours will be different, but it's the KVS processing. So KVS, Kinesis Voice Video Stream Processing. So this is the code that is actually going to make your recording. Now, one of the challenges that is a nuance that I told you I'd point out is that the runtime engine for this is Java 8. That's not going to cut it anymore. So what you're going to do here is you're going to go into, you're going to change this Java 8 to Java 11 or higher. And go ahead and save it, and that'll fix that problem for you. So the other thing I would point out is if you're testing after you make a phone call and you leave a message, if you don't get the message, the first thing I would do is probably go to my S3 bucket. You'll find an S3 bucket there that holds the audio. So again, Dr. Voicemail Framework, that's the name I gave it. Yours will be different, but you're looking for the auto recording bucket. And if you click on that, you should see WAV files begin to, as a message is left, they will be put in this bucket. So first thing you want to do is check, is the message there? If the message is not even in the bucket, then there's a problem with your KVS Lambda function. If the message is there and you don't see it, it's not delivered, then I would go to CloudWatch and I would find the Lambda function that responsible for sending. And typically the problem is that you did not verify the email address of the person you're trying to send the message to. Those are the two most common problems. If you go back to the GitHub, you'll find that there is a troubleshooting section that will walk you through how best to troubleshoot. You should not, if you've deployed it as outlined here, you shouldn't have any problem. It should just work. If it doesn't, Dr. Voip at drvoip.com, send me an email. I'll try to point you in the right direction. So I hope you have found this informative, and thank you for viewing.